right, everybody. Welcome back to Star Wars Talk. So, today we're going to do a little something new. Past couple of weeks, I think I've done 13 or 14 videos, can't even remember. Picking up a little bit of momentum in the Star Wars Talk community, so that's great. Again, kind of a new guy on the block here. There's a lot of other Star Wars shows that are out there that, by the way, I frequent and watch all of the time. So just adding my voice to the collective Star Wars fandom. But I did get a few emails that I kind of wanted to go through today and answer some questions live. I do typically respond, by the way, if you comment in the comments section, I pretty much respond to everybody. And so I do respond to emails too. I've responded to several emails, but I did hold off on a couple just because I wanted to take them in and discuss them on the call or on the show today. So this is kind of a Star Wars talk email review / question and answer session here. So let's get into it. Let's look at the three big questions here. Hey, Wizard. Who do you think will live or die in this film? Do you think the Han Solo dying theory is pretty much confirmed by the new Rolling Stone article? Love the show, but would like to hear what you think about who is going to make it out of the film. And this is from JB45 Constance. Okay. So JB, it's a great question. I actually did. I started recording a show about who I thought was going to make it in and out of Star Wars, but information's been changing so quickly that I pretty much got to the point to where I said, you know what, I feel like I'm going to get this out there, almost like with the with what happened yesterday with the Kylo Ren theory I had, which I thought was pretty sound going into that article yesterday, that there was going to be no way that Kylo was actually talking to the mask. And then the freaking Rolling Stone comes out and I got egg all over my face. So I got to the point to where I just was like, you know what, let's not get too, get out there too much, because I was way off on that one. Although some of the other stuff that's come out has actually confirmed some of my previous theories, particularly about whether or not I think that when I said that Rey was going to be captured, I think all of the information that's come out in the past week or so is pretty much confirmed that she's going to be captured. So that was a theory that I had, and that she was going to be taken. So I feel pretty good about some of the stuff that I've come up with. So let me answer your question. So do I think Han Solo is going to live or die? That's tough. It's tough. It's really tough, because I have to think in two different ways. Number one, I'm a huge Han Solo fan, so it's very difficult for me to separate the fact that it would kill me. I'll probably bawl my eyes out if Han Solo dies in this film. So do I want him to die? No. Everything in my body thinks that this will be the last time we see Han Solo. I mean, in terms of the Harrison Ford version of Han Solo. I think with them moving forward and recasting the role at with a younger version for the new Han Solo anthology films, we'll see our Han Solo again, but it's not going to be Harrison Ford playing the role. So I do think this will be the end of Han Solo. I think at 73 or 74 years of age, for him to go out in a blaze of glory, which is probably what's going to happen. It's the perfect ending for him. He's got what I believe to be some adult children. He spent the majority of his life with Leia, the love of his life. So I think it's probably the time for Han to go. I have a couple of reasons for this. Number one, I don't think Harrison wants to do 2 more Star Wars films. So I don't see him doing 2 more Star Wars films. I think it took a lot to get him to come back for this role. As I said in my previous video yesterday, I don't think this was something Harrison really wanted to do, and it was going to take an extraordinary script and a script where he was killed because he wanted that very badly. At the end of Return of the Jedi, he wanted Han Solo to die. So I think that was probably his one of his one of his demands was that he was only going to come back for this one film, and after that he wanted the character to be dead. So which gave JJ a big shocker moment that he gets to release to the world, and so I think that's what's going to happen. There's a number of things that point to that. So not only his attitude towards the character, the character's age. So Han Solo can't really be Han Solo anymore in a few more years. I just don't see Harrison. I mean, although the guy is Mega Man, I mean, in terms of the 2 accidents he had to survive this year, wow. You can't say enough about it, but the reality is, even in some of the trailer footage, he looks old. He looks old shooting. There's that scene where he comes running out of the rubble in the trailer. He looks 73 years old. I mean, he looks like a well-fit 73-year-old man, but Han Solo just looks old. And so I don't think him getting any older is going to help that character any. I don't think that it will be fun for us to watch a older Han Solo, 75 or 80 years old Han Solo on film. No, I think right now, while he still has a little bit of spry left in him, let's get him in a scenario where he gets to be the hero one last time, and give him a big emotional moment and a big emotional send-off, and also provide the spark that's needed for the rest of the cast to obtain what they needed. So, in terms of who do I think will live and die in this film, it's so tough. It goes by one way or another. So let me promise you this. Let me think about that question and really go through over the next week, and before the movie comes out, I want to see if any more TV spots come out before I finalize my theories on this. But before the movie comes out, I will release a who makes it into Episode 8 theory that I'll have. Because believe it or not, it changes day by day depending on the new footage and new stories that come out. So at this point, my head's kind of spinning with all the different options. I do think Han is one that will die. I think I've thought that for a while. And again, it's not. I hope he doesn't. I would like to be wrong, even just to see him get into the first part of the next film and die in Episode 8, just because I would like to see a little bit more development of whoever Han and Leia's kid is. I would like to see a little bit more development of that situation there. But I do think that we'll lose him in this film, though. I really do. All right. Next question. Hey, can we get some Rebels talk? Do you think Kanan will be, for example, do you think Kanan will be in the new movie? And this is from Rism, RES1. Okay. So Rebels, I haven't been watching the second season, so I'm one where I like to binge watch, especially when they're short episodes. I'm not big on sitting down and watching week over week. I work a lot in the evenings at my actual job, so I just typically don't get the chance to follow the series. But I've watched season 1. Kanan. There's been some talk that maybe Kanan will be in the movie. There'll probably be some tie-ins to Rebels because Disney's very big on that. They do like to link in, to their other properties. So I think you'll see some tie-in to Rebels. The other person who could be in it is Ezra. That's certainly possible. You may meet an Ezra in the Resistance. So who knows? It's certainly possible. There's there's a lot of different characters I think that could make it into episode 7 that are in Rebels. So it really depends. We've got a couple of more episodes before The Force Awakens premieres, and I think the reality is it really depends on what happens over those next few episodes. I kind of want to get caught up just so I can see what happens in the next few episodes, but I definitely think you'll see some tie-in somewhere between Rebels and the first or the Resistance. So I imagine there will be some people there, and again, they may be background characters, they may be very small cameo appearances. I doubt that J.J. Abrams spent much time reviewing the storyline for Rebels as he was writing Episode 7, so I don't really see a big tie-in there, but I do see some possible cameo appearances. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if there was nothing, if it had nothing to do with it, if they decided to make Rebels as completely its own thing with no tie-ins whatsoever. I definitely think you'll see some tie-in between Rebels and Rogue One. Definitely think you'll see some tie-in there. I definitely think you'll see some tie-in between Rebels and the Han Solo anthology films. So I think there's going to be some tie-ins throughout the movies that are coming out, but with Episode 7, I don't know. Because I really think JJ did not spend so much time reviewing the Rebels history before writing this. And I don't think Kaz did either. So they maybe got the story arcs of what the characters were going to do. And again, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he said, let's do a cameo appearance or something with one or two of them. But I don't think you're going to see any major character development. I don't think you'll see any big reveals because I just don't. But I think it's a great question. And again, I'm not doing any Rebels talk just because as of right now I don't really have much to say about Rebels. Sorry about that. Almost swallowed my microphone. Okay. Last question. Well, not really a question, much more of a statement here. And this is from Kristen MED. I still think, Kristen, first of all, I can't believe we got a female viewer here, but I still think you're wrong about the Plagueis theory. Everything points to it being him. Go back and watch episode 3. And then go and watch Stupendous Wave's video on this. So first of all, Stupendous Wave, another Star Wars and sci-fi commentary that's out there. Please go and review his theories on this. I think they're great. However, where I'm at with this now is I think that J.J. Abrams is going to develop a new character for Snoke. I think that's what I would want to do. I think being the creative person that he is, I still just have this feeling. And again, the evidence is piling up against my theory here, and I will not be surprised nor disappointed if it ends up being Plagueis. But I just feel like it was an obvious play. There was a lot of Star Wars fans that were going to catch on once the fan art went out there. And again, whether or not it's Plagueis or not, I would be very surprised. I would be surprised if we find out in this film that it's Plagueis. Okay? I would be very surprised if we find out in this film that it's Plagueis. Just because I really think, and if you remember, even going back to the original trilogy with Palpatine, you knew very little about the Emperor in the original trilogy. Very, very little. He was in the background, mentioned, talked about in hushed tones, but not really developed at all. You knew very little about some of the major bad characters in the original trilogy. So I have a tough time, and even in Empire Strikes Back, didn't get a whole lot about the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back. So I don't think he's going to give away the store with Snoke on the first film and talk, especially when you could have that reveal about him being a later film. So maybe it's Plagueis, maybe it's not. I don't think it's going to happen in this film. I think it would be much more. I think it would be much more interesting to have a character that has never before at all existed within the Star Wars universe. Develop somebody new. Really spend some time, come up with some development, come up with something that nobody expects. And then from there, you kind of can branch out into different parts of the Star Wars world. Who knows what this guy's backstory could be? But if you make it Plagueis, you've got a map already there for his basic backstory. And it's a very vague. I mean, really, only people who are really legitimate, huge Star Wars fans are going to even know who Plagueis is. So, therefore, it's almost like just a wink or a nod at them, and not so much an opportunity to completely sweep the rug out from them and do something interesting. But that's me. I get it. I do. Anyway, we will see. We will see. I think I've been very consistent about this from the beginning. I will not be shocked if it ends up being Plagueis. I will be if we find out in this film that it's Plagueis. I think most Star Wars fans who follow are going to know it's Plagueis once we get a good look at Snoke. But again, in this film, you may not even get a really good look at him. I said that before. I think you may have a very minimal look at what the character actually looks like in this film, and very little about his story in this film. I think you're going to focus mostly on Kylo, mostly on Hux, mostly on Captain Phasma, in terms of the villains. Snoke, very little. Very little. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Like I said, you guys can come on here and tell me he told you so and everything else, but I won't be surprised if it ends up being Plagueis. I will, however, be surprised if we find out in this film. Anyway, so those are 3 big questions we had that I wanted to answer today. We are 2 weeks out, folks. 2 weeks out. In exactly 2 weeks, I will be sitting at my house. I've already got my tickets. Getting ready to go to the first showing of The Force Awakens. So I am super excited. I did want to mention, somebody brought up Stupendous Wave. Go check out his videos. Look him up, The Stupendous Wave. He's got some great theories. He goes the exact opposite direction of me with Plagueis. He's got evidence that he thinks solidifies that it is Plagueis. I'm a big fan of Stupendous Wave, so go out, check him out, read his stuff, listen to his stuff. You'll see me commenting on his things. He's one of the people I've been following for a while in terms of Star Wars. Also, check out Jedi Council. Collider does Jedi Council. I'm a big fan of Jedi Council as well. I watch every week. I think they do every Thursday. They do Jedi Council. Harloff on there, Christian Harloff, pretty much 100% sure that it's Plagueis. I mean, I feel almost like an idiot when people who I respect their opinion are so adamant that it's Plagueis, and I'm so against it. And it's just because it's the obvious play. It's the obvious play for a Star Wars fan, I think. And as much as JJ is a Star Wars fan, I try to think in my world, would I want it to be Plagueis? And as creative person as he is, I don't think he would go the obvious route. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go for today. Please like, please subscribe. Please keep listening. Go back, watch the videos. We got 13 other videos out there, which range from everything from the Star Wars Marvel world all the way up into discussing the Plagueis theory ad nauseum, because at this point it's the biggest thing going around. So please go, like, talk, discuss, get the word out about Star Wars talk. Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.